This clip is from the Boundary Riders podcast, and if you do enjoy this, then make sure to check out the full episode out every single Wednesday morning on YouTube and Spotify. So after that, guys, I wanted to quickly rank the AFL Indigenous jumpers, of course, with Indigenous round happening over the next 2 weeks. AFL teams have released their Indigenous jumpers that they're going to be wearing over the next couple of weeks. Some have actually released two, so I think I've got every single one. If I forget one, let me know down in the comment section, but let's get to ranking all the AFL Indigenous jumpers for 2024. So we're going to be starting at the worst and going to the best. And overall, I don't actually hate any of them. I think whoever made them, did a really good job. And I'm sure the AFL clubs absolutely love them. So by all means, I don't hate or dislike any of the artists that made them. I'm just saying it on my personal thoughts about them. And if you like them, you like your team's one, and I say I don't really like it, totally up to you to, we can have differing opinions, I feel like. So now that I've padded everything, first of all, I'm going to go with the one that I dislike the most, which is the Brisbane one. Mine, I just don't really like it, in my opinion. It doesn't really scream Lions to me. I think they've had some pretty decent ones in the past. I do like that they've gone with a maroon background, but other than that, the swirls and stuff, I'm sure there's some story behind it, but just on a look, that's how I'm vibing this so far. I'm just not really a big fan of the Brisbane one, to be honest. It feels a bit, and I don't want to say this, I don't want to say it seem mean, but it just seems like a bit of a mess. That's just my vibe on it anyway. So Brisbane's is the most disliked one at the moment for me. Next up, we get to Melbourne's. Not a big fan of Melbourne's. I feel like they could have done a bit more with it. I don't mind the design, but I just think they've actually had some really good ones in the past, the Demons, and I just feel like this is a bit of a letdown from the last couple that we've seen. I don't mind the shield and that in the middle of it, but I just think there's not a lot going on. It feels like everything's been pushed to the background so they can still keep their core part of their Guernsey, and it doesn't really scream out creative to me, just in my opinion anyway. Next, we get to Port Adelaide. Now, this is one of two. This is their away strip. The white one, I don't think it's really that vibrant, I guess, if it's the word. It seems a bit boring, in my opinion. I think the teal as well doesn't stand out very well on the white background, in my opinion. So I think the other one looks a bit better, which we'll get to a little bit later. I don't mind the V in the middle, actually. That's the teal V in between the black. I don't mind that, but I just think the white background with the teal design through the middle here is not really my cup of tea, so to speak. God, I sound like a wanker, don't I, talking about these. Next up, anyway, we have North Melbourne's. I don't hate it. The only problem I would have is I think the colours need to be turned around. I would prefer a blue background and the designs around the jumper to be more white, in my opinion. There are a few up the top that I get to that I do like the white designs. I think it suits it. However, I prefer this one to be in particular. I really do like the royal blue that North Melbourne do use. So that's probably why I don't like this one as much. But don't mind the design. I actually really like the design of the kangaroo for it though. Next, we get to Sydney's. I don't mind the idea of the Swans doing a red bottom and a white off the top, to be honest. However, I think with the Indigenous jumper, I feel like it almost feels like it's been half done, in my opinion. I think that the white at the top there needs to be something up the top. I feel like it's just half a design being done, in my opinion. So I really wish they did something with the top of it, because I don't mind the design at the bottom. But Sydney have had the last couple before this one I really, really liked. So I'm a little bit disappointed by this one, to be honest. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the white top, because I actually don't mind the colour swap between the red, obviously Sydney's normal jumpers, red at top, white at the bottom. I don't mind the colour change, but I do think they need to do something up the top with the white, just in my opinion anyway. Next, we get to the Tigers. So Richmond's I don't mind, but I don't really understand. I understand like there'd probably be a reason behind the bird. It is for Ryan Mantle's family who did it. I would have preferred a little bit more of a tiger, but the Richmond one I don't mind. I think they've gone yellow and black because Essendon have gone black and red, so they couldn't have the black background. It just doesn't really scream out so massively to me. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the yellow in between the black stripe. And this is the Crows one. This is the home jersey. They've got a clash one, which we'll get to a little bit. I really like the both the jumpers itself. My only issue with these ones, which we'll get to a little bit later, is the crow. It just, I don't know, to me personally, it feels like they've cut the crow in half, just at the top here, like here. It feels like they've cut it, which I don't really like. I feel like it's weirdly cut like that to me. It feels like it's very straight edge considering the rest of it's so creative with all the little indigenous dot paintings and that painting designs and stuff, that I feel it's a bit weird that the crow's just like being cut off here. That's just me anyway. I'm sure there's again, I'm just going purely on look, in my opinion. Next is Carlton's, really simple one. It's why it's a little bit further down. I do like the designs in between the I don't know what you call the shoulders here and the bottom. I just wish they did something to the middle. And I understand Carlton have got to have the C in the middle, but overall, I think you can get rid of it for the round, or at least couldn't they at least do something different with the emblem? I mean, we've seen teams change their emblem. I know they're a very traditional club, but it's like you could do something with the emblem in the middle here. Overall, though, I do like how it is a little bit simple. I just wish they did a bit more in the middle. St Kilda's is next. Don't mind the St Kilda one. Probably the reason why it's not as high as what the normal is, probably because I think there are better ones going through, but I also think that St Kilda's last year was one of the best ones. So I think it's a tiny step down in my opinion. Overall not that bad. To be honest, I understand teams are going to use different animals in that, but I also think that you can't. I think there's sometimes other teams using animals like eagles and that, especially when they are a part of different teams. I feel like you could do something a bit different than using another team's animal, or like for example, kangaroo paws. I do like. I think that's very interesting. But using an eagle on it when you've got the eagles, I don't know about that. Essendon, this is up next. Like I said before, because they've gone with the yellow background with the black stripe. Essendon have gone with the red stripe and the black background. Don't mind this one, actually. I liked it. It's like quite simple. There's not too many things going on. They've focused a lot more with the design around the slash, but also like how they've almost changed the stripe a little bit, so it's almost across the body rather than shoulder to your hip. I like how they've kind of done that and then added the design in between. Not too bad. It's simple. I don't mind it, so I think it's okay. This is Geelong's home one. They've obviously got an away one, which we'll get to a bit later. I like that Geelong have done something a bit different here. The last few seasons, majority of the seasons, they've just gone with the a white background or whatever with just a new pattern in between as like their stripes. I like they've done something different here. So I think my understanding, this is a eel of some sort. I really like the sea aspects that they've done here. But yeah, I actually think this one's pretty cool. So I like the Geelong one, the home one. Next, we get to the Bulldogs. We've already seen this one being played. I do like the Bulldogs have done something a little bit different here. I feel like, in my opinion, the Dogs have probably been one of the worst teams for designs over the first few years that every single team has been doing one. This is one of my favourite ones for the Dogs, hence why they've gone a bit higher. They're kind of in the middle. I like how they've got the different colours. And they've incorporated more red, blue, and then a little bit of white, because I do think their colours are quite nice, but the white probably takes over now and then. So I do like they've done this sort of stuff here, and I like the design as well, how it all basically links to this design here in the corner. Fremantle, it's simple. I don't mind it. And I also like how they've gone to a little bit more of a sort of heritage way. They've like gone the green, white, and red. I do like that. I think it was Jeff Farmer. Yeah, Jeff Farmer who led the design for this. I like how they've gone a little bit more retro with the colours that obviously Dockers used to use before they went to just straight purple and white. So I don't mind that one. I think that one's pretty cool. I think it's one of the... I think Fremantle's, I think it was last year's one, was really, really good. This one's slightly a step down, but I still really like how they've done their cross like that. And I wouldn't actually mind in the future if Fremantle changed their colours to have their, I don't know what you call it, their triangle bit in the middle, if they did change it to green, white, red, but don't mind the design of this one. Next we get to Hawthorn. This is their home jersey. Really like this one, and I really like the fact that they have used the hawk in the middle of it. The yellow background on the brown stripes. I really like the designs of the stripes as well. There's only two, not the three like you usually expect, one through the middle. So they've really, or there's kind of one, it's like a half one. But I really like how they've incorporated the hawk. Now we'll get to the brown background in the later. But yeah, I do like this one. I do like the other one a lot better though. Collingwood's is next. So about over halfway now. Collingwood's very simple, but I like how they've done something. They're always going to keep it traditional because they're a traditional club and they can't have a wank fest or whatever the hell the reason why. I don't get why they can't like have different jumpers, but I like how they've still got the, it's a Collingwood jumper. You've got the black stripes with the white through the middle or whatever you want to say. But I like how they've got this design in the black through there as well. And I like the I think they're bird. I'm assuming they're bird, magpie paws. So I really like that through the middle. And I think it's a really simple one, but I really like how they've added little tiny textures, like even just on the stripes here, they've got these little patterns through the side. So I really like that. And I like the little texture design through the middle of the black stripes. Gold Coast, we have seen this one already, of course. Their Darwin design for this year. Didn't really like it at first, but it's kind of grown on me. I like how they've... For one, you can actually see the emblem on the jersey. I really like that. They've added like a white. It almost looks like a star through the middle, which I really do like. And everything is pointing towards their emblem. I think that's why I really like this design. I don't really know exactly why it's got a huge Northern Territory aspect. I'm sure there's a reason why. I mean, other than the Northern Territory logo. But overall, I'm sure the Gold Coast love it. They're winning every single game up in Darwin. Then we've got Port Adelaide. This is their second one, their home jersey. And this is why I really like the black one a lot more, because the teal aspects of the jumper stand out a lot more. And plus, I think as well, the white stands out really nice on the black design. I think everything just pops a little bit more, hence why I put the Port Adelaide one. This is like one of the top ones, so this is why I really like this one. The black sits at the back and everything else pops in front, so that's why I like it. West Coast is now up next. This would have been probably a little bit hot. This probably would have been one of the higher ones. However, I think the eagle being white just, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me perfectly. I really like the design of everything, to be honest. And even the eagle I do like. I just think that the white seems a little bit weird of a color choice. I feel like they could have done something a little bit weird, different. I feel, to be honest, it looks like someone has... it looks like a drawing from like a school book. It was like you've been drawing through your school book or whatever and it's been plastered straight on there. Not that the design's bad. It doesn't really, for me, it feels a bit strange. I know my brother said he absolutely loves this one. Maybe West Coast could win their first game in it. That would be cool. But other than that, I think, this is probably the highest they'll ever finish on a table or rankings this year. So I'm glad that they're up the top there, West Coast. Now we get into the top four though. Fourth is the Adelaide Crows. I think this is the Clash jumper. This is the red one. I really love this design. Like I said, this probably would have been number one if it wasn't for the Crow, cut off. That's obviously on both of them. I really love the red background on the jumper here. It just makes everything, all the little details of the dot art on it, Indigenous dot art and that sort of stuff. It does really make it pop. So I really like that. The red, I actually like when the Crows use the red on the background of their jumpers as well. Number 3 is the away jersey for the Cats. Like I said before, the whites haven't really been my favorite, the white color on the background. But this one, because the darker colors are in between and the red sea snake, or whatever it is, stands out, pops more on that white background. I really do like this one. This is one of my top favorites. And the Cats always do seem to look a lot better in their white jumper because their white shorts stand out so nicely. So I think that's probably why I like it the most. But yeah, I really like the white background on the Geelong jumper. Number 2 is the GWS jumper. I absolutely love this one. I think last year they did like a swap, so it was a dark background on the different designs. This time they've gone with a white background. And I think, like I said, everything on the Geelong one, it's pretty similar. Every orange color pops off. You can see every single intricate line, all the little pieces of artwork through between. I think that's supposed to be a goanna in between here, inside the Giants jumper. I think this looks really, really cool. So I think this is one of the best ones, especially for the Giants as well. But the Giants have always had some pretty good ones, but this is definitely up there. And now my favorite Indigenous jumper going into this season's Indigenous round is the Hawthorn Brown. I don't know if you want to call it your Clash jumper. This is my absolute favorite. I think it is a lot of favorites of most people. It is stunning. The hawk in the middle with the brown hawk with the stripes that aren't not yellow. They're just yellowed outlines. So you can still see that nice little bit of design in between the stripes. but the brown just makes all the yellow pop out, all the gold color pop out so nicely. So I absolutely love this jumper. Don't really like the Hawks too much, so won't be getting it. But I really love the uniqueness of this one. And I love how the Hawk is like the most prominent part of it, because they are the Hawks and they make that stand out the most. So for the person who made this, Ty, this is the person who made the jumper. Absolutely brilliant design. Did really, really well with it. And Hawthorn are going to look great this week in this jumper.